Thank you very much, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for everyone. And thanks coming back for the another lecture about the startup ecosystem in China again. And for this week, I'm still going to continue to few sectors, but the sector itself, it's not, I think, not the most important things, as well as the either the company itself, right? The way the different company grow to what they are today, and the strategy, the growth path, and the business model, and the business model innovation. I think that's the I think that I wish that could be the key takeaways you guys can learn from my lectures, right? And the failures, right? The success stories, anything you can borrow, anything can inspire you for your further startup journey. I think that's the core and the purpose of this course, right? So today we're going to another very well-developed sector. It's logistics sectors, right? In China, logistics it's really developed compared with anywhere in the world, right? Basically, if you order most of the stuff, I mean, like the FMCGs, food, you can get the deliveries within hours, even 30 minutes, 20 minutes, right? And because the huge logistic delivery network and platform, and also the number of jobs they create, actually supports the whole ecosystem. So whenever you have time, you come to China, you will be amazed or surprised by how many delivery guys, how many motorcycles, how many tricycles running on the street to deliver the food, how many food being delivered, how many consuming product being delivered every day. So that was something very different based on my past experiences living 3 different continents, right? And still today, China still very sit on this quite developed. We even call that logistic infrastructure, digital logistic infrastructure, right? So and also I know there are a lot of startups trying to do similar things in Africa as well. So by definition, the logistics sector we're looking at will be building on it's built based on the increasing the efficiencies and trying to build very good user experiences on top of it. I don't know what you guys have the experiences with the DHL or UPS, but definitely in China the experiences is not very good, right? And we have very good e-commerce experiences. Why not building the same experiences, same level of the services to the logistic? That's how the story starts, right? So for the logistics sectors, we have express delivery, and that's what we're seeing a lot of startups in Africa are doing. And I saw quite a lot startups doing the business in Nigeria, in Kenya, in Egypt, in South Africa, right? And all of them trying to deliver food, to deliver consuming product, FMCGs to your house, on your hands, right? And also we have express delivery and warehouse logistic. It's very important as well, right? In order to process the product fast enough, you need a very good warehousing logistics, as well as a warehouse management system and methodology as well, right? And also the same city deliveries, right? That was something you will see quite often in the startup world, right? The DoorDash and all others are trying to be the same for the same fill into this category, same city delivery. And also cold chain is very important. That's something I think Africa is building up, but still lack of this type of logistic infrastructure as well, right? Look at the market. The 83 billion of the packages has been delivered just in 2020, right? And logistic cost in China, it's like close to 15% of the GDP share. I think that scale, African or even other developing countries, not even in this scale, right? and there are 300 billion RMB same city delivery market, instant delivery, we call that, right? So if you look at the timeline, start from early 90s up to 2007, that was still the traditional express. The China post office dominate the market, right? And after 2007, since the e-commerce start to grow, and there are volume of the orders to the e-commerce platform, so that's when all the new express logistic companies start to build, right? And 2015, when the IoT, big data technology, and also coped with the smart city, all bunch of the new technology, the logistic industry evolved to what nowadays today we call it smart logistic. But even today, the technology is still evolving, right? Well, in the future, we'll see the drone, we'll see the driverless cars to deliver the food in the future. We will still see the robotic, right? They're helping to will be more and more AI and robotic go into this industry in the future, right? And few key players, I don't know if you guys heard about that. SF, one of the largest prime logistic company in China. Cainiao, which was built by Alibaba. JD, which was a part of the JD, the e-commerce platform. And Food Truck Alliance, we call Manbang. I believe a few of you guys are building something very similar to Food Truck Alliance. It's like a truck platform, so you can order, manage the whole the truck deliveries on the platform. And JNT, and that's also a very interesting story. The company actually starts outside China, and then they very focused to grow the business in South Africa, right? Trying to be a SF, trying to be a Cainiao in South Asia, right? And after a few years, when they grow really fast, and they start to acquire companies, logistics company in China, and then come into China market. Nowadays, they're already like top 5 logistics company in China by using the strategy, doing things outside China, then enter China market. And also Meituan, since they're one of the largest food delivery company, and so they have their own delivery platform and logistic team to deliver the food every day. Right? And just go into details of some of the examples, right? First one is Shunfeng. Shunfeng still considering the primary delivery company, so they can do a secondary fresh delivery, like fresh food, fresh fruits, vegetables to other cities, even in next day, right? My hometown is like 3 hours flight from Beijing, where I currently live. My mom was trying to send me some fruits from my hometown last week. By using Shunfeng, I got the fruits the second day, right? And when the fruits come to my house, it's still very fresh. And with the so they have very, very good cold chain delivery platform in China, right? Started in Guangdong, 1993. So what they're trying to do original was trying to helping people do manually delivering stuff from Hong Kong to Guangdong. Guangdong is like next to Hong Kong, right? So like before 1997, there's it's a cross border, right? It's like entering to another country, right? So there's demands for people to deliver stuff just cross the border, right? That's how they start their business. And then because of the service and the speed, they're going really, really fast, right? And 2003, when they become big enough, they start to buy their own air fleet. They own airplanes in China. And 2007, when the e-commerce platform start to taking off, and then they start to grow their business very fast. 2010, they built their cold chain services, and 2015 they start to try drones, but still in the research phases. Right. I also think because of the regulation in China, so using drone to to delivery stuff, it's not really compliant at this moment. 2017, they did one of the largest IPO in logistics sectors in China, right? And nowadays they start to go really deep into technologies, right? Start to spend a lot of money, invest a lot of efforts, capitals to AI and IoT technology, right? And nowadays they already have more than 70 aircraft, and they nationwide, right? And they also, if you get a chance to stay in the airport long enough, a lot of the airports in China, they don't really operate in the nights, right? But in the night, we were seeing a lot of aircraft take off and landed. That's the aircraft doing the logistic during the nights, right? And also they have a very good IT system, so you can track your package from the day one till they send it to your front door, right? And also they start to expand internationally with a very good express services as well, right? And I still remember when I was in Canada, I using Shunfeng SF to deliver important documents back to China to replace the DHL and the TNT type of the services, right? And they start to, nowadays they really focus to cold chain, healthcare, and the same city deliveries within a few hours, right? And also remember, when you deal with Shunfeng always give you the best services in overall, and 99% of the on time, even in a very bad weather time, they're still trying to deliver things on time, right? And of course, they are one of the most expensive delivery service in China. But when I say most expensive, it's just relatively to other services, but still in general, it's very cheap, right? Compared with you using DHL, you using TNT services, right? And 2022, they already have close to, like, I think it's $15 billion revenue, right? And dominate the prime market in China. The other one you should try to understand is Cainiao. Cainiao itself, it's not really start as a logistic company, right? It's actually founded by Alibaba, right? And Alibaba was, as I mentioned last time, was one of the largest e-commerce platform in China, right? They have a huge amount of the delivery logistic package need to send every day. Then they work with a few other partners, right? Such as Yuantong, Yunda, Shentong, Zhongtong, right? And because each of them are running their own platform using their own IT system, right? It's kind of a fragile market. So they built this network, Cainiao, and trying to work with their partners, right? And then they start to acquire companies, logistic companies, becoming their system. So it's like network Cainiao, and they have a few other logistic company integrate to the Cainiao systems. So nowadays, so you can use Cainiao under all Alibaba's ecosystem, right? And delivering thousands of your packages. And also you can choose different players, or you can use their system to allocate the right players, right logistic company to you, right? Again, as Alibaba's technology company, right, internet company, so they are very focusing to the technology, right, building IT infrastructures, connects partners, connect different logistics company as well. So they build this they call national digital logistic network. It's kind of infrastructure as well, right? And also they have the feature called Cainiao Post. They're using the community store, like a Papa and Mama store in China, to becoming the pickup and the job solutions, right? And also, since it's run by Ali, right, they have this the data platform. They use big data, use data analysis, trying to optimize the routes, and also the trying to predict the traffic, right? And nowadays they're very focused to becoming a green logistic companies, right? Using more these instead of traditional fuel systems, and also trying to invest technology to the climate tech as well, right? If you look at the Cainiao network, it's doing 300 million daily packages, right? And also there's more than 40,000 Cainiao posts, right, around the country, and then they already expand to 200 countries, right? And they can do the 72 hours global delivery. But I think the 72-hour global delivery is not really like covers most of the African country. There are a few countries they can do a 72 hours global delivery company. The other one is I mentioned earlier. It's Jingdong Logistic, right? Just because when Jingdong built their e-commerce platform and trying to using services like Cainiao, like other logistics company, they're not very satisfied with the services, right? Then and also the warehousing becoming an issue for them when they have a lot of product trying to flow into their program. So they're trying to build into their applications, right? So they 2007 they start to build their logistic company, and 2017 they're separate this Jingdong Logistic spin out from the Jingdong e-commerce platform and becoming an independent company. And 2021 this company Jingdong Logistic got IPO in Hong Kong as well, right? And for Jingdong Logistic, it's a very asset heavy model, right? They owns 1,300 warehouse, and they own 200,000 delivery staff, right? They have a very high standard of services and using their own in-house Jingdong technology, right? With I mentioned earlier to you guys, right? Jingdong has a health tech company, Jingdong has a data company, right? Jingdong has a fintech company trying to provide fintech services, right? So they're trying to integrate their technology, share their technologies to all their ecosystems, right? And they're already becoming the #1 B2C logistic company, and they're trying to serve the customer outside Jingdong and trying to becoming a same city express delivery services, not just for JD as well, right? And so when I say asset heavy, right? If you look at the 1,300 warehouses that's built and owned by Jingdong, right? If you look at other e-commerce platforms, they claim they have a warehouse. Sometimes they partner up, they rent, right? They share others' warehouse, right? And also, a very crazy part, the 200,000 delivery staff, it's hired by Jingdong. So they are Jingdong's employee, not contract, not by the three-party logistic company, right? If you look at the a company like Alibaba, Meituan, even Jumia, right? The logistic team, the fleet team, they have most of the time they using the 3-party logistic company, right? So they, in this case, they don't need hire anyone. So in order to reduce the tax burden, reduce the cost burden to themselves, and make the company lean. But the Jingdong, it's going to the other way. They build everything, they run everything themselves. It's very, very asset-heavy model, right? And comparatively, if you look at the other logistics company, it's not like very similar to Jingdong Logistic, right? The food truck alliance we call Manbang in China. It's just a truck platform, right? It's DigiFreight, right? Their model is very light. They don't really own any of the trucks, and they don't own any of the truck drivers, right? It's like a Uber model, right? They are more like a platform network, right? Trying to connect all the dots in the network ecosystem together, right? So, Manbang, the food truck alliance, was it's a little similar to some other China startup, right? They have a one of the large acquisition happened. Same one of the top two of the top three players, Yunmanma and Huochebang, merged in 2017, and then they becoming the largest truck platform in China. And 2021, they got IPO in New York Exchange, right? So look at the key features. They have 2.5 million shippers and 3.5 million truck drivers, not their employee. It's like it's under their network, right? Then they have the very good matching mechanisms, trying to match the drivers and the platform, right? The digital freight, that was what they're building. Nowadays, they own 70% of the market share in China. So beyond that, if you get a chance to look their product, they have a lot of other services, right? Trying to be a fintech for the truck drivers, right? Providing a digital wallet for the truck drivers, right? And then also trying to cover the insurance, right? All they're trying to do is building digital solutions around the truck drivers and the truck ecosystem as well, right? And helping the truck drivers to lease, to get financial supports, right? That was one of the new core features they're building after the IPO in New York Stock Exchange, right? So that comes to the startup ecosystem, right? There's two different models. People talks a lot, right? Asset heavy and asset light, especially in logistic, right? If you want to build asset heavy, then that's really heavy, right? Think about if it's a logistic company, just by owning these vehicles, that's a lot of money you need to prepare, right? And the salaries to the logistic guy, right? And also imagine if in order to keep the operation run smoothly, there's insurance coverage, right? There's maintenance of the vehicles, right? You have to think all about this cost, right? But if you look at the asset-light model, obviously it's easy to build, right? And it's easy to scale, and it's quite light, right? But when it comes to we say entry barrier, right? Obviously, asset heavy has more entry barrier compared with asset light, right? If you are, and also in terms of valuation, right? Asset heavy can give you a lot of data point to increase your valuation, because the asset itself worth a certain price, right? So if you're trying to build asset model, make sure you have enough capital, or you have the capability to raise a lot of capitals and raise capital quickly, right? So I was chatting to a few friends in the logistic company. One of the friends, he is one of the largest truck finance, co-founder of the truck finance platform in China, right? He told me one of the key winning points they have is ability, the core team, they can raise enough capital, right? And raise the capital fast enough, as well as the cost of the capital is very low, right? Remember that there's a cost to every capital you raised, right? So for the equity, the normal rounds you're trying to raise, you're giving out the ownership of your company, right? For the debts, right, you're raising, there's the interest rate, and also the interest rate in Africa, it's not very low, right? So if you're trying to raise money, if you're able to raise more money by giving out less equity, right? Or if you can raise more debts by giving a very little interest rate, if you can be that person, I think that will be your key, the competition edge or unfair advantage of as a founder, right? And some of the key insights we got from the logistic sectors, right, and strategic lesson for the international market, and trying to select your model carefully, right? Heavy or light, right? and also control or quality, right? And Sunfeng and Jingdong, like the company, those two, because they are trying to build this premium model, so they put more control and to their fleet team, to their logistic players, logistic employee, right? And trying to control the quality, right? And for Cainiao, they're more like network. For them, they're like more on scalability and flexibility. So there's two different model as well, right? And also, if you're trying to build logistic sectors, trying to understand the network density, right? That's equivalent to efficiency, right? That's why a lot of people start to build their logistics company in the major cities because of the density, right? And that's what also you need considering in Africa, right? At each delivery, the cost of the delivery, does that make sense to you, right? And is that efficient enough? Is there any way to improve the efficiency, right? Maybe by adding more delivery points or adding more orders in one transaction. That's something you have to think about. And the scale operation, right? Why we need scale? Just in order to bring down the unit cost. I've been looking at the logistics sectors. Even I have a few investment in the logistics sectors. The unit cost of logistic is very high compared to even to China, right? Say each delivery guy, in China, I think there's 2 or 3 times they can deliver it compared with African delivery guy. Well, it's not because the delivery guy in Africa is not good at work, right? Just because the density of the network in China is much higher than the in Africa, and the way, say, in China or even in the US, right, the post office, the post system works very well, right? And then GPS is very accurate. So you can that's something can hugely improve the efficiency for the logistics sector, right? And looking at the Cainiao model, right? When they becoming the network, they becoming the platform. A lot of small medium-sized logistics company have to work with them, have to under their system controlled by them, right? And also technology is very important. As I mentioned earlier, right? If you look at what all the logistics companies trying to do today, they invest heavily to technology, IoT for sure, right? Automation, and trying to understand the data, right? And nowadays, I think they're collaborating with the AI company, trying to using more and more AI into their system, right? And also if you look at other markets, right? I think e-commerce it's an opportunity, right, for a lot of companies to build their logistics solution, and that's an opportunity to fulfill the growth of logistics startups, right? And then also trying to understand the platform integration. If you have a logistic company, always trying to find the users to work with the platform, to work with e-commerce, to get your customers, to get the density of your network, right? So let me check the time. Okay. Right. So I have talked about e-commerce as well as a logistic, right? And also these two sectors is very important in China, right? It's the backbone of the technology or internet startup in China, right? And if you look deeply, if you think deeply, that's about supply chain. That's all about supply chain, right? So I want to talk a little bit more about the supply chain itself, especially in China. So China was like really start to deploy it after 1990, right? And 2002, 2003, when China joined the WTO, that's how things got changed, right? And well, if we look at the history, right, the first generation of the supply chain is what we sell, what we have, right? So let me think how to frame this, right? So it's sell what we have. So original, like what we have is raw materials, right? And certain agriculture products, right? So then and some of the light industrialized products like a FMCG, then we're trying to sell. So the supply chain was built around them, right? And if you look at the history, right, before 2012, if you're trying to sell, say, television, right, from the product line, come to the end of the users, right? There's warehousing, there's agents, there's many sales channels in between. So average, you need 6.8 turnover times before the TV come to the end users, right? But 2017, after 2017, when the e-commerce platform becoming really well developed, if you look at the data from Jingdong, a TV or AC come from the product line to end users, the turnover rate becoming 2.1 in average already, right? It's like 3 times less than the traditional model, right? And again, if we're still using Jingdong as example, right? In the data coming from Jingdong, JD already have more than 10 million SKUs, right? The warehouse turnover time is 25 days, right? Close to 26 days, right? What that means? It means like this 10 million products, every month that will be sold out. So every month this 10 million products will sold out by in Jingdong platform, right? And in the meantime, if you look at Costco, one of the largest global supermarket chain, Costco, right? The warehouse turnover rate is 30 days, close to 31 days. But their SKUs is only a few thousands, right? And also, if you look at the FMCGs, right, the data in average, I mean, mostly the data is from China, right? The FMCG's turnover rate in the warehouse is 100 days, right? So in the traditional warehouse system, logic supply chain system, every 3 months they can sell the product. They can sold out all the products, right? Like 3 months. But if you using Jingdong, if you go into Jingdong, like the e-commerce platform supply chain, right? There's like 26 days only, right? Which means a month compared to 3 months in traditional model, right? That's how efficiency, that's how fast product can be turned over by using a e-commerce platform with digital logistic system, right? So there's 3 times difference creates 3 times market value, right? That's why I'm saying there was a traditional supply chain and there's a new supply chain we need compare, right? And also something we call the second generation of the supply chain in China. Well, it's not like they're different, right? It's just a second type of the supply chain in China. It's we build what we don't have, right? So that's something like Tesla and Apple, right? Apple doesn't have a screen. Then there's the factories in China, they build a screen for Apple, right? There's no brick for Tesla, right? There's factories, they build the bricks for Tesla as well, right? And thanks to the globalization before the Trump age, and this supply chain model works well, right? And that's something I think will happen in Africa as well. That's something I was we're like kind of expecting to see these opportunities in Africa. The nuts can really inspire the growth of the African supply chain or logistic and the e-commerce platform, right? And also be careful, there's something we call 3.0 in China. That was a company like Shein, right? And then I know a lot of you guys already heard about Shein, and I think they're already in South Africa, and they becoming a huge competitors to a lot of fashion companies in different countries, right? The way they're trying to do is control the supply chain from the day one and digitize the whole supply chain around their platform, right? The Shein was a traditional international trader before, right? And they start to go into the clothes, fashion sectors, and they start to build this fast fashion things. Nowadays in China, they have an extremely controlled mechanism for the supply chains, right? So they can get very low cost to all the manufacturers factories in China, and so by giving them a very little margin but a very large order to them, right? That's how we call the third type of the supply chain in China. It's by using technology, by creating volumes online, and by giving the factories large orders, then control every steps of the supply chain in order to reduce the cost, making the product cheap, right? And then the other sectors I was trying to, I can introduce is a mobility sector in China, right? So for mobility, mostly we're talking about hailing, car sharing, bike sharing, and carpooling services, right? In China, it's like 300 billion ride-hailing RMB market, and there was 200 million bike users monthly in China, right? And the registered users for all the bike sharing mobility sectors are 500 million. So that was a very large number in China. It's like close to 1/3 of the population are using this. The more than 1/3 of the population are using this platform, right? And right, if you look at the development stage, 2010 to 2014, that was ride-hailing begins. That's where Uber starts, right? And people trying to copy Uber in China. Then Didi was called Uber in China as well, right? And just because they are very strong, very good at localization themselves, right? So that's how they can win the competition to Uber, right? So like I will mention later. So one of the core lessons we learned from the past 30 years internet competition in China is the localization, right? So in order to compete, to win the competition with the international giants, how to localize your services, right? Build your strong offline team. That's becoming very key, like a key strategy to a lot of the Chinese companies. And in 2015, 2017, there was a bike sharing war starts. Back then, you can see there's a colorful bicycle on the streets, right? And almost all the parks on the side of the road are occupied by these bikes, right? And also 2018, when everyone burned enough capitals, there's a consolidation happens. Didi acquired, I think the third largest competitors in China. Then they acquired the Uber China exchange for they acquired Uber China and giving the Uber China some of their shares. Then they becoming the largest player in China, right? And there was a Hellobike, and there was a Mobike. There's a FOF, and there was like a huge competition in the bike sharing as well, right? And let's go to some of the cases. Like the Didi I mentioned, right, was founded in 2012. Original was the Uber, the Uber version of in China, right? In 2014, they got the investment from Tencent. Like I mentioned, in China, you either get investment from Tencent or Alibaba. You choose side, right? So they becoming the friends of Tencent, and on the WeChat, you can order taxi only by using Didi, not other players, right? That's the perks when you're choosing a side, right? And 2015, they merged with Kuaidi, and they did the one of the, back then that was one of the largest acquisition merge in China. And 2016, they acquired Uber China and then dominate 90% of the market share, right? And 2018, they start to diversify their business. They acquire one of the top bike sharing companies called Blue Go. And 2019, they start to spend like quite efforts to build on their technologies, right? Launched autonomous driving division, but today the autonomous driving still not there yet. But Baidu, one of the largest search engine company, they actually built the autonomous taxi services in China. It's the first one in China, even in the world, to really like run the business in the cities, right? And 2022 they launched the community group Buy, but they turned off the shutdown the service maybe in a year or two, right? And 2021 they were they got IPO, but later they got delisted due to the data concerns, the privacy issue and the safety issues, right? So it's a very interesting story in China. Nowadays, still Didi is one of the largest, right, and is still trying to diversify their business, right? And also there's new competitors always trying to compete with them, and I think nowadays they haven't start expansion to other countries very well. In Brazil, I remember, and Mexico as well, they're doing very good, and as well as I think Didi was in South Africa, and 2 years ago when I was in Egypt, I think the Didi service in Egypt is very good as well, and also they have a Didi Finance, which providing a lot of us financial services to like a vehicle finance, right, and financial supports to the Didi driver as well, right? Remember, like I mentioned, asset light and asset heavy part, right? For Didi's case, most they're like choosing the asset light model. So there are a lot of third-party logistic company recruit drivers for Didi, and there's a lot of third-party companies providing vehicle finance for the Didi driver as well. It's more like a move, right? Move from Nigeria. They're providing the vehicles for Uber in different countries, right? So that becoming an ecosystem as well, right? In Brazil, Latin America, their financial part it's even doing better than their original mobility part. They already start to finance bus, finance trucks for the Chinese companies in South America, right? There was a Hellobike case, right? There was a bike sharing. There was a bike. Hellobike was founded in 2016 and 2017. They got investment from Alibaba and finance, so they choose the side of to join Alibaba in China, right? So in Zhifubao, Alipay, you can get the bike sharing services from their super app, right? But in WeChat you cannot. So that's what happened when you choose a side, right? And in 2018 they rebranded, right? And in 2019 they start to diversify their business. They start to launch ride-hailing services in China, right? And 2022, when the EV comes out, they start to focus to electrical vehicles, both 4 wheels, 3 wheels, and 2 wheels as well. Nowadays, they have 500 million users in more than 360 cities. They have in service, but like they serve the lower tier cities rather than the major cities. In Beijing, I think people mostly not using their services, right? They're using services like Didi, Meituan, right? But I went to a few other lower tier cities. I saw quite a lot of services from Hellobike, right? So again, the innovation points, right, for this type of company, trying to aggregate different transportation models, right, and trying to start with the third, fourth tier cities, right, and then going to the first, second tier cities. That's the lower tier strategy they have, and also choosing a site integration with the super app, right, and technology again, and trying to they're trying to build a dockless basic, and then try IoT technology. They're trying to pay fast payment, like lock and unlock services by using Alipay. So they're integrated with good user experiences and technology, right? And two more examples, right? Cao Cao Mobility is a different story. It's launched by Geely, one of the largest vehicle manufacturers in China. So this is a model, when a vehicle manufacturers, right, and trying to enter to a new business, so they choose to run their own ride-hailing services by using their own car. It's a very asset heavy model, right? But their focus is more like nowadays EVs, right? If you order Cao Cao, I think most of the car, maybe 99% of the cars are made by themselves, and it's EV, right? And yeah, it's 100% self-operated. And also Meituan's it's like really super app to me in China. I use Meituan quite a lot. I showed you guys how Meituan looks like last week, right? So Meituan's strategy is different. They have this group buying, restaurant reviewing, and the food delivery services, FMCG fast delivery services, right? And then they got quite a lot of users. Then they started thinking to expand to different sectors, right? To satisfy their users, make their user use their app more, right? So then they start to first to building something like Didi like, right? So they actually have a ride-hailing. You can order taxi through their Meituan app, right? And then they acquire one of the largest bike sharing companies called Mobike, right? So to expand their ecosystem, right? And that's how their strategy looks like, staying with the core business and want to make their users spend more time on their applications, using more of their services. So they start to expand to different sectors. Nowadays, Meituan is building dining hotel services as well, right? So that's how you look at this super app in China. So well, if you look at a model, really something just three things I usually compare, right? The ecosystem, if it's a platform, the quality, right? It's premium quality, or it's a network effect, right? And it's if it's traditional ride-hailing, or it's like a diversified services, right? Key insights from mobility sectors, right? Always, mobility is always two-side platform, right? Supply demands. That's how you need to serve both your. Remember, you are not just serving your passengers, right? You're serving your drivers as well, right? Sometimes you have to take care of both demand side and supply side as well, right? Don't forget the driver is your user as well, right? And also trying to scale fast, build a network effect, right? Like normal, I was chatting with some of the UI UX from those ride-hailing companies. They just tell me one of the KPIs for them is not let their user wait too long to get the ride, right? So that was a core KPI to them. So in order to they spend a lot of efforts to improve the experiences, so user can first get a service quick, and secondly, they don't feel like it's boring, and there's very few vehicles on the platform, right? So yeah, and the efficiency is always the important part, right? And subsidy strategy, right? And always be careful about first the challenge, the competition from others, right? And also trying to look at other players, how they're trying to do, right? And also service is very key parts, right? You see, if you expand too fast, how can you maintain the same quality of the service, right? And something happened in China, and if you guys are doing the similar startups, you have to be very careful. It's about the safety and the regulation, right? And I remember 2 or 3 years, there was emergency happened to one of the Didi things. I can't remember the detail. It's like the passengers, they had bad experiences with the driver, right? They start to arguing on the car, and somehow they start to fight, right? I can't remember if it's the passenger and the driver, one of them died during this incident. Then the governments, the police officers, right, the compliance regulatory start to come into the sectors. Some of the players, they stop operating for a very long time and trying to integrate the compliance regulations to reduce the risk, right? The safety issue. So that becoming something you need be very careful about that, right? And build a good relationship with the regulatories, right? And understand, keep telling them, keep communication with them, right? To telling them what's going on in the sectors, right? Look at the lessons learned from the incidents, right? How to prevent the incidents happen in the future, right? Like that, right after the incidents happen, I think in China, all the ride-hailing companies start to incorporate technologies such as face recognition. When the driver start to drive, they need using the camera to pass the face recognition verification, right? Then there's a recording, like always on. So when you drive, when you start your trip, they have to keep recording the conversations, right? If there's anything doesn't sound good, there was a trigger point, they can send an alarm out to the platform, right? There's more and more a lot of other technologies they're trying to incorporate with to satisfy the regulation and compliance, right? And so looking at the emerging market, I still thinking transportation and mobility got huge opportunities, right? And the user experiences is not as good, to be honestly, compared to what we have in China, right? And also the infrastructure has a huge potential to becoming better in the future, right? And as I said, the efficiency and the network effect, that's something definitely has a definitely has opportunity in emerging markets. I'll pause for minutes, see if there's questions. Okay, good. There's no question. Let me continue. So the AI sectors. So unfortunately, I'm still not going to talk about the new AI technology because it's the big language model, right? It's still evolving fast. I cannot give any insights at this moment, right? So, but I will share the first generation of the AI startup story with you guys. I think the business model and also the way they win the competition. So look at the AI. So the first generation, to me, there are a lot of applications on AI, right? So for me, like how to apply the technology, who applies the technology best win the market, right? Not really the research phase back then. So if you look at the Baidu pretty much is follow what Google trying to do, right? And they built this Baidu brand and trying to attract the top tier AI scientists to join them, such as Coursera's founder, Andrew, used to be the CTO or CEO of Baidu brand, and also Lu Qi, who is the AI researcher of Y Combinator, the head of the AI research center of Y Combinators, also lead of YC China, used to be the CEO of Baidu. So they're very like focused, trying to be the best technology company in China, right? So they build this deep learning and they build the AI technology around their user base. Now they have very focused to autonomous driving, and one of the first, I think, autonomous taxi company actually was built by Baidu and was running in the second tier city called Wuhan, right, which was more than 10 million population in one city. So they already start to commercialize their autonomous driving technology, and also because they have so much Chinese data, right? Data in Chinese, so they're considering one of the leading players to providing to have the data to train the Chinese AI model, right? And they also build their own chips, trying to build their own OS as well. But don't forget, Baidu was one of the largest IPO tech company in China, public company in China. So they had quite a lot of capital to support their operations, right? Not every company has a luxury, has that much capital to burn, right? SenseTime, it's a Shangtang in China, right? Was founded from a university in Hong Kong by a professor, right? And then they quickly received a large investment from IDG and from Alibaba, right? And 2017, it already becoming most valuable AI startups, was worth $4.5 billion in 2017, right? And then 2018 they launched their deep learning platform. Right, in 2019 they're trying to expand it into smart city health tech verticals, right? So the key technology they have is face recognition, and they're very focused to the key technology they have, right, to building everything around face recognition. So a lot of other applications like banks and cities, right, they're using their face recognition services, right, and they are the one I would say collaborate with most of the top university globally, right? It's academia, it's a few academic based technology company in China. So I think what they did very good is a vertical applications, right? So when people talking about SenseTime, it's not like doing everything company, right? It's not super app. When they talk about SenseTime, it's related to security, finance, healthcare, right? That's what their focus is, and they building all the solutions around the user they already find. Yeah, and the other two, it's a Guangshi and Megvii is Guangshi in China, and iFLYTEK is Keda Xunfei. So that's two very different model in China, right? Megvii it's vertical integrations, right? And it's a bit similar to SenseTime. They have a technology and they have the face recognition, and they have a lot of AI technology integrated to IoT. So they're becoming one of the largest partner of the we call 2B, right? Large business, especially they focus to work with large corporates and governments, banks, state-owned enterprise. So in China, right? So their huge focus is to digitize AI there are current solutions, right, and give them more like safety solutions, right, and automation solutions, and helping them to make their IoT cameras, right, and sensors more smarter than before. So their focus is very like vertical to the governments, to the big business clients, and with a very niche vertical focus, right? iFLYTEK, it's actually only a few consumer-based AI application, AI startup in China, right? And they was very focused to speech recognition, right? And went public very early in 2008, right? And nowadays they're still very focusing to the speech technology, right? One of the voice translation app, and was built by iFLYTEK. Using their earphones to record meetings, and was and to translate English or other languages to Chinese as well, right? So they have very focus to the voice sectors, right? But compared to others, they're more like consumer solution, even to business, right? But they built the solution for individuals, right? They're building AI smart tablets for people who is focusing to record meetings, right? So they are very like customer focus compared to others, consumer focus, right? So technology need be commercialized, right? We've been seeing a lot of technology companies, they're struggling to commercialize, to find applications, to find a scenario, right? In China, just because the huge market, the population is becoming it's becoming the wonderland to a lot of technology to find a scenario, right? I think that will happen in emerging market country as well, in Middle East, in South Asia, in Africa, right? When we have a large population, we have so many problems need to be solved, right? We need a solution, right? We're always looking for technology solution. Then the high tech, for example, like the AI, right? And that's something we can really leverage, we can really apply in the market, right? So I think still in the future it will be very similar to China. Finding the scenarios for technology is a path to success for some of the startups, right? And also well, just like in China, right, we don't have a core technology before, but once we have building so many solutions, we start to pivot, we start to having our own technology coming out, right? And also the collaboration with academic, right? That's still, if you're doing the technology business, don't go away, don't be too far from the school, from the research centers, right? Still keep your eyes on the related researches. Now, research, that's one of the key things, right? Again, the real world application, right? It's always the key. I've been seeing a lot of imagination solutions, right? And a lot of start trying to solve some the imagination problems, right? Without solve the real problem. So I think that's something I also mentioned in the product market fit, right? That's the key. Are you really using the right technology to solving, or right tools to solving the real problem, or it's an imagined solution for the imagined problem? That's something you need to think about. So education tech, that's also one of the very interesting sector in China. So actually, education sector was considering one of the most profit sector in China before, right? We were one-child policy before, and so and our tradition culture in China, education and it's most important things, first priority things in our culture, right? So like my parents, or even next generations, right? we've been spending a lot of time on the education, right? And for my when I was teenagers, right, I went to a lot of off-campus tutorial, and my mom pays a lot of the tuition fees for me to go to those off-school campus to get math trained, English, and all other courses, right? And K-12 definitely it's a key to most of the students in China. So that was a huge market in China. Every company, if they're going to education, they should make tons of the money, right? And even before 2020, the market size is like 35% growth every year, right? And the K-12 penetration, it was like 30% plus, right? So that was one of the key sectors in China, right? And if you look at the development stage, before 2015 was a tool-based era, people trying to build the tools for the basic digital learning, right? Then 2016, people start to work on the online education, and a lot of live classes emerging, right? And 2022, there was huge transformation, and because of pandemic, there was a booming for in the beginning of the pandemic. Right after the pandemic, there's a policy adjustment. They reshaped the whole industry, right? Few stories, right? And that was one of the biggest unicorn in education before COVID. Before the new policy coming out, right? There are building tools, right? First is a tools for one-on-one online education, right? And the other one is building a homework search tools, right? And then they becoming online class course, like Coursera type of a platform for K-12 educations, right? Then they raised huge amount of money from Sequoia, from SoftBank, this top tier investors, then becoming unicorn before pandemic, right? And the beginning of the pandemic, they got explosive user growth, right? But by 2022, there was a policy coming out. It's called double reduction policies in China, which the governments start to stop people go to like off campus tutorials, right? They want kids to have more time to rest. So when the policy coming out, it teared down the whole industry, right? Then K-12 from the I would say money generating machine, then becoming a industry like barely can make the money, and you have to spend a lot of money to be compliant, right? And offering K-12 off campus course becoming a no, right? So that was one sample. You have to be very carefully about the policies, right? To go closely, not like to be connected to be able to communicate with the regulators, right? In order to make your business, your startup compliant. So when situation like this happen, that won't break down your business. And VIPKID is a very interesting story. It's a very different. They are very focused to children English education in China, right? And they're providing this one-on-one online training courses to young kids in China, right? And like after a few years development, and they becoming the global leaders in such an online children English platform, right? They have more than 500,000 paying students, right? And they launched the Daimi Chinese, and also teaching people Chinese online as well, right? And the difference is like the model they've been working very smartly is hiring people from different countries to be the teacher, right? So they have a huge amount of the teachers coming from North America, and as well as I think some of the teachers they're coming from Africa as well, right? So when child in China, they're using the platform, they can have a foreigner English teacher for them, right? And they've been very strictly on the teacher management, right? And also in average, their teacher got like 4.8 review, and the quality control is a key winning point for them to win the competition together, to get the market. Yeah. By the way, it's considered one of the largest like a job creation education platform coming from China, right? They're already providing like not full time, right, but paying job opportunities for more than 70,000 of young people, not young people, like people from North America, right? So the other two, it's TLE, 好未来, and Youdao, right? 好未来 was it's like start with the offline, right? Then they build the online, but they still the key differentiation point is they keep well on the offline teaching. So they have this dual teacher model, right? We have an online teacher model, teacher, as well as we have offline teacher, right? So when everyone like really focused to build everything online, they are spending a lot of efforts to build the offline channels, right? Then the offline becoming the entry barrier for them, right? The other one I want to say, it's called Youdao. It's actually start with a dictionary. That's a very interesting model from China. A lot of the Chinese, like we call global Chinese company, actually start as a tool company, right? If you look at maybe some of the company you guys have tools you guys have been using for quite a long time, such as ShareIt, right? And the tools you can share documents with your friends by Bluetooth, by the not using the internet, spend the data consumptions, right? There are a lot of tools built by Chinese in the early days, right? Whenever they have the tools, they start to build a user base. Once they have the user base, they start to expand this the functions, features for the users, right? So like Youdao, it was just a dictionary. Then they start to build the translation functions, right? Then they start to build the courses, providing English courses for the dictionary users, right? And nowadays they already becoming one of the largest online language course platform, as well as a online translation platform, and in China, right? So in China there's the tools model was quite popular, right? So some of the insight from the education sectors. Well, of course, education sector is most profit sector in China, right? But it's still it's the customer acquisition cost is very, very high compared with other type of business, right? Right, and it's becoming a technology and the teaching integration platform, and I believe AI will shape this. I mean, the new AI will shape this sectors very big in the future, right? So pay attention to that. The AI technology to reshape this sector, right? And also it's very policy sensitive sectors, at least in China, right? One policies can make the whole sectors down. So that's one of the lessons actually Chinese startup owners, founders, and investors learned from this, right? And the tools, and always mobile first, right? Experiences. Another one I want to, I'll do this very quick. It's a super app, right? That was my favorite sectors. When people talking about super apps, the super apps from China was something people are trying to copy, right? Like I said, there's no super app at the day one, so always start with the single functions, right? Then integrate more features, then now becoming full coverage, full scenario coverage, covered application platform ecosystem, right? Remember I mentioned earlier, super app to what is super app to me? right? It's an ecosystem which can supports other startups, other people's, right? If you have built a very success super app, there must be some unicorn IP like public company can build their solution on you, right? When that happens, you are the super app for my definition. So WeChat, like you guys already heard of the story last time, right? Start with a social, right, and becoming payment a platform. The few key points for them: first is becoming the social platform, then they have the mini app coming out, right, and then they have the official accounts, then becoming a content distribution platform. When the moment's coming out, it's becoming something like Instagram, Facebook to China. When the mini program coming out, they opens the door to becoming the ecosystem, right? So the payment and the red pocket was the growth hack they use to grow their user base. So Alipay story, right, start with as a Taobao's payment tools, right, and 2008 start to offline. Expanding into offline payment scenarios, right? And 2013 start to build this wealth management model, right? And 2017 they also giving out their mini programs, right? Well, look at the how many mini programs built on those two platforms, right? There's 4.5 million mini programs on WeChat, and there's 2 million mini programs on Alipay. Just imagine how big, how complicated the ecosystem already is, right? And there's 80 million merchants are using Alipay, right? Just think about only those two super app in China, how much scenarios they already cover. It's like almost they covers all the scenarios in China. And also, if you are building a company, a startup in China, business in China, right, you have to figure out a way to collaborate to becoming the ecosystem players in Alipay or in WeChat. By the way, even for us, we have our company's official account in WeChat. That's our primary channel, like news channel, a content channel in Chinese for the users in China, right? And Meituan and ByteDance. Meituan start as a vertical, like it's a Groupon first, then the food delivery, right? Then they start strategically merge other business such as the food review and such as other local services, such for example Didi, as I mentioned, right? Bike sharing. Nowadays, they already have 400 million monthly active users using. 1/3 of the Chinese are using Meituan, and also they're online offline integrated. A lot of the offline services, right, they're using Meituan as the promotion channels, right? And they're already becoming digital infrastructures for all the restaurants, most of the restaurants in China, as well as services such as massage, spas, and gym, and some of the entertainment business in China, right? And ByteDance is very different. It starts with the news aggregators, right? And then they acquire one of the TikTok similar players. This is Musical.ly in the US, right? And quickly integrate the Musical.ly with their algorithm-driven the content distribution. Content distribution algorithm, right? To attract the user to stay on their app longer, right? And then TikTok and Douyin was a Chinese version of the TikTok short video entered to the market and already becoming the most dominant social app in the world today. So on Douyin, they have 600 million monthly users. Close to half of the Chinese are using their platform monthly. Well, there's everything's on the slides, right? Meituan's like vertical entering, the food delivery, and backbone of as a digital infrastructure for the restaurants, for the food and beverage industry, still their core, and always trying to expand to different to be diversified in terms of business, right? And connect offline to online. That was their key. And ByteDance, the TikTok company, the content is always the key, and generate more contents and push the contents to the user is their core strength, right? And while there are equivalent, we have Grab equivalent to Wechat and Alipay, and also people seeing Gaozing from Togo, and the Wave. There are African version of the Alipay, right? And like the success of China, of course, we have a massive users, right? We have a 1.4 billion like population speak one language using one currency, right? That was still the biggest single unified market in the world. Even African, there's more population in China, but still it's a fragment market, right? And hopefully there's one day we can break into the trying to connect those fragmented market in Africa and build our own ecosystem very fast. Right, and key factors we learn from Chinese internet entrepreneurship, right? First, it always pinpoint driven, right? Find a pinpoint, find the product market fit, right? And second, it's localization strategies. I think that's the most important things I think I want to share with you guys, right? When internet starts, all the like global companies trying to enter to China, Amazon, Google, Facebook, right? Groupon, Ubers. Of course, there's a government protection for sure, but to be able to localize your resources and to be able to integrate to your own local market, that's a key winning point, right? So Alibaba was able to build something they call Iron Team. The team can go door to door to lock on each offline shop store to push their applications, right? To teach people how to use Alipay, to teach the merchants how to put the barcode in front of the counters, so people can pay, right? Even for Meituan, even for other for some other of the success startups in China, they have this very strong localized team to build the localized content. Douyin build the localized content, right? And also the localized offline team, they can go to the market, speak their language, right? And talk face to face, one to one, to teach them, to train them, to convince them to use the application. So I think about if one day Meituan or Alipay start to come into Africa, how can you win, right? Localization, I think that's the biggest entry barrier for you. So speed and execution, that was what people in East Asia good at, because we don't have a church, we don't go to church, we go to office most of the time, so we can we work 9 to 9, right? So that's how the speed being built up, and also the capital operation. Unfortunately, that's what we don't have in Africa at this moment, right? We still lack of a capital. But in China, unfortunately, after WTO, when China entered to WTO, when they opened up the gate, the foreigner investment flow into China and fulfill the ecosystem to grow really fast, right? Hopefully, when the interest rate, the US interest rate going down, there will be opportunity for the capital flow into Africa startup ecosystems, right? And the ecosystem building, as I mentioned earlier, right? You're not building single companies, right? You need to collaborate with the others to build to have an ecosystem, tech ecosystem, so your user can have the full end-to-end solutions by using the digital solutions, right? Pinpoint examples: Alibaba was trying to solve the e-commerce trust issue, right? Didi was trying to, as Uber, trying to solving the rush hour traffic issue, right? Pinduoduo was to solving the lower tier market needs, right? Because not everyone can buy things from Alibaba from Jingdong early on, right? So then there's opportunity for Pinduoduo coming to the market, right? And there's methodology and identify. I think it's easy for you guys to understand, observe the behavior, analyze the inefficiency of the industry, right? Always improve the efficiency, reduce the cost. That's a key for the digitization period of the time, right? Uncover the unfulfilled potential needs. I think that's opportunity. There are a lot of unfulfilled needs need to be someone to fulfilled in Africa, right? And international implications, or you can look at the deck, right? And localized strategy, as I mentioned, right? Offline, speak your own language, go to your own community, right? You are the one understand your community the best. You are the one understand your language, your people, your culture best, right? So that was your key strategies when the international competitors come into the market, right? Don't lost that part. Keep that part on your hands, right? Right, and the methodology, it's easy. You can look at the deck. It's a understand the behavior culture, right? Considering local situation, right? And also the key lessons we learned in China, adapt to the regulatory environment and policies, right? Always keep the communication window open to the policymakers, right? To the regulatory, to the compliance, right? So don't let one compliance break down your business. Always be prepared for that, right? Speed and execution, right? I think for us, if you don't have a chance to go to office to work over the weekends, right? Leverage technology, leverage AI, right? Using the AI can really speed up your a lot of like the development, right? And a lot of content creation time to improve your efficiency, to speed up your speed for the competition, right? Capital, it's a challenge, but don't give up, right, guys? Always try to raise capital if you can, right? And find the right capital, find the right investors for you. And also thinking about different vehicles, right? And also considering when you raise capital, considering the cost of the capital, right? Not all the capital are cost right? And if you are able to negotiate with a low cost loans, low cost debts, right? And go ahead, right? That's your key advantage. Yeah, that's everything for my course. I'm sorry I have to wrap up everything very quick within 3-4 hours, but there are tons of things I can talk about. I can speak. I can talk another 4 hours to introduce you what happened in China, right? But for my course, I just give you some of the overview what's going on in China, right? And there are something lessons we learned for the past 20 years. It was to share to people outside China as well. Okay.